How's it going, guys? Sequenze here. Today I'll be bringing you a Holy Priest healing guide for the Burning Crusade Classic. So first of all, let's take a look at what has changed for priests from Classic WoW going into TBC. So Dwarf Priest will no longer be the superior race, due to Fear Ward now being available to every priest. Priest will get a few new abilities to aid them in raids, such as Binding Heal, Prayer of Mending, Shadowfiend, and Mass Dispel. Humans and Draeneis will now be the best races to pick as alliance due to their ratios, the human spirit, and inspiring presence. For Hordes, your best races will be Trolls and Blood Elves because of the Berserking and Arcane Torrent respectively. As a priest in TBC, you have 3 different options when it comes to your talent builds. First, there's the tank healing build. This build is a very strong build if your guild needs you to be more of a tank healer rather than a raid healer, and has some good single target healing, as well as offering your fellow healers and casters a solid healing and damage buff with improved divine spirit. Next up, we have the raid healing build. If you want to be more of a raid healer, this is the build for you. This build excels at AoE raid-wide healing and can dish out some serious numbers. So if you want to compete with the rest of shamans, this is the build you pick, as you get Circle of Healing, which is a ridiculously strong talent to have in a raid environment. The third and final build that you have available to you as a healing priest is the Power Infusion build. If you want to bring more like a support type priest into the raids, Power Infusion is solid for that. This build does not excel at any of the other 2 builds and is not really the strongest build in the world, but it does synergize well with your casters. I would mainly recommend this build for when you have raids on farm and not progression. Now let's have a look at your rotation. Although being a healer you don't have a certain rotation given that everything is situational, but if you are focusing on single target healing, you would want to be doing the following. Keep Renew on your target at all times. Cast Greater Heal rank 2. Now you can use rank 1 if mana is too big of an issue for you, but you would always want to consider Greater Heal rank 2 your spam heal, so try to find the best rank that suits you and your mana pool. Next up, you want to be casting Greater Heal rank 7 on targets that are taking heavy damage. Always make sure to try and combine it with an Inner Focus to make it free, as well as increasing your crit chance by 25% to try and maximize your output with Greater Heal rank 7. You can also cast Prayer of Mending on your tanks, but be careful with this ability as it does cost 390 mana and it does only have a 10-second cooldown. So if you are reckless with this, you will go relatively quickly. A good tip is to put this on your tanks pre-pull, as it will help them generate threat when it heals them on the first hit. Other than that, try and cast Prayer of Mending on the move, as well as with your Power Word shield if you have to. Cast Shadowfiend if you're low on mana, but use this ability wisely, as certain boss mechanics can actually kill your Shadowfiend, wasting a potentially 5-minute cooldown. Other than that, you want to be casting Flash Heal rank 9 on targets that need quick heals rather than casting Greater Heal rank 7s due to the longer cast time. Also, you always want to make sure that you have Inner Fire up on yourself and have Desperate Prayer and Fate ready in case you get aggro. If needed, you also have Psychic Scream, which can save you, but you gotta be careful using this ability because you will fear ads and you can potentially pull a crap ton of ads in a dungeon or in a raid environment. When it comes to AoE healing, you want to be doing the following. Cast Prayer of Healing with Inner Focus off cooldown. Please keep in mind that Prayer of Healing only heals your own party and not your target's party. Cast Circle of Healing. This is by far the biggest change coming to Holy Priest in TBC and can, when used correctly, be an absolutely ridiculous heal. Not only is Circle of Healing instant, but it heals your target and their party. You also want to keep Renew rank 12 on targets who take damage constantly. Cast Prayer of Mending when you know that your raid will be taking constant damage. Cast Shadowfiend for mana regen, but as mentioned previously, be careful with this, as a raid boss can easily kill it off with certain mechanics. When it comes to consumables, you'll have a few options available. For flasks and elixirs, I recommend Elixir of Healing Power or Elixir of Draenic Wisdom, depending on which one you prefer. Food-wise, the best choice will always be the Golden Fish Sticks. Regarding potions, I'd recommend using Super Mana Potions. And when it comes to weapon buffs, Brilliant Mana Oils are still more than viable in TBC and should always be applied to your weapons. And also, they are now 1 hour instead of half an hour only. On top of that, you also gotta keep in mind that dark runes and demonic runes are still in play in TBC and should always be considered for progression rating. For your professions, I recommend tailoring and enchanting. Tailoring, because of the Primal Mooncloth set as well as the Whiteman set, will be your biz gear until tier 5, as well as a 66 plus healing enchant on your legs with tailoring. And for enchanting, you should choose it because you can get the 20 plus healing enchants on your rings, which is ridiculously strong. Last but not least, guys, I will be leaving links in the description below with all of my biz sets for the different phases and the different tiers going into TBC. So you feel free to click on those and look at those and see where your respective items drop and whatnot. And other than that, guys, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And if you liked what you saw, please subscribe and like the video. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you.